Hello there again, everyone. My name is Mharlyn from Marinduque, and for today, I will be recording my submission for Laboratory Exercise 5, IT 211, Data Communications and Networking 1, CISCO 1. In the OSI layer, working with the application layer is essential. The application layer provides the means for end-to-end connectivity between individuals in the human network using data networks. As we know, the goal of the network system is to provide the communication in the fastest and shortest path as possible. Server is an important tool in this experiment. It responds from the entire client's request because servers contain files and information and manages it depending on the application. One of the server's roles is to manage its web. In HTML programming, we can design various websites and links. We can change its fonts and contents, and provide information and images, and make it available at the World Wide Web. In this experiment, we will simulate web programming, but we will use CISCO Packet Tracer to visualize what happens in the network system when it comes to web design. The objectives of this laboratory are: design a CISCO-based web programming system, determine the difference between static and dynamic routing, create their own websites and links, determine the function of the server in networks, identify how the server responds at the client's request. Materials that we need: CISCO Packet Tracer. Procedure 1. Open the CISCO Packet Tracer, drag 3 PCs, 2 switches, 2 servers to the platform area. Procedure number 2. Change the label of PC0 and PC1 as dynamic and PC2 as static. Procedure 3. In PC2, since it is named as static, configure its IP address. Example is 172.16.0.90/16. PC0 and PC1 are labeled as dynamic. It means that there will be no manual IP configuration for the two PCs because it is dynamic routing. Procedure number 4. Make sure that the packet tracer is in real-time mode. Procedure number 5. Configure the DHCP server. Letter A. Add a server and name it as DHCP server. B. Change its global settings by setting its gateway to 172.16.0.1. C. Configure its fast Ethernet by setting its IP address to 172.16.0.10 and change its subnet mask to 255.255.0.0. Set the HTTP service and HTTPS service to off. Set the DHCP server's default gateway to 172.16.0.1. The DNS server to 172.16.0.11 and set the start IP address to 172.16.0.100. F. Set the DNS server and the email's SMTP and P03 service to off. So for step number 5, we are going to do it one by one accordingly to the procedure which is given to us. So let's start with configure the DHCP server, add a server and name it as DHCP server. Step B, change global settings by setting its gateway to 172.16.01. Letter C, configure its fast Ethernet by setting its IP address to 172.16.0.10 and change its subnet mask to 255.255.0.0. Procedure D, set the HTTP service and HTTPS service to off. Step E, set the DHCP server's default gateway to 172.16.0.1, the DNS server to 172.16.0.11, and set the start IP address to 172.16.0.100. Step F, set the DNS service in the email's SMTP and P03 service to off. Procedure number 6. Configure DNS server. Letter A step, add a server and name it as DNS server. B, change its global settings by setting its gateway to 172.16.0.1. C, configure its fast Ethernet by setting its IP address to 172.16.0.11. And then, change its subnet mask to 255.255.0.0. Set the HTTP service and HTTPS service to off. E, set the DHCP servers to off. F, enter the domain name, let's say for example, www.mis.edu. Enter for its IP address to 172.16.0.20 and click Add. G, add another domain name, example www.internal.com, and its IP address to 172.16.0.30 and click Add. Set the DNS service and emails SMTP and P03 service to off. Step B, change the global settings by setting its gateway to 172.16.0.1. Step C, configure its fast Ethernet by setting its IP address to 172.16.0.11. D, set the HTTP service and HTTPS service to off. Letter E, set the DHCP service to off. Letter F, enter the domain name, let's say for example www.mis.edu, enter for its IP address to 172.16.0.20 and click Add. We have added another domain name, www.internal.com and www.mis.edu, and changed the IP address to 172.16.020 to 172.16.0.30. We clicked Add, H. Set the DNS service and the emails SMTP and PO3 services to off. Procedure 7. Configure the web server. Letter A, add a server and named it as web server www.amas.edu. B, set the gateway to 172.16.0.1. C, configure its fast Ethernet by setting its IP address to 172.16.0.20 and change its subnet mask to 255.255.0.0. D, set the HTTP service and HTTPS service to on. Change the sentence to HR welcome to AMA Online Education System. You can add your own statement. E, set the DHCP server service to off. F, set DNS to off. H, set the DNS service and the emails SMTP and PO3 service to off. F, set DNS to off. H. G, set the DNS service and the emails SMTP and PO3 service to off. Proposed activity. For the www.internal.com, follow the instructions of the www.amas.edu and create a website regarding artificial intelligence. Hi everyone! We are back once again to continue working on our laboratory number 5. To go back on the previous task, We are already done creating an example of an artificial intelligence website. The link of this website is pasted on the PDF file that will be submitted for this laboratory. HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol is a set of rules for transferring files, text, graphic images, sound, video, and other multimedia files on a World Wide Web. As soon as a web user opens their web browser, the user is indirectly making use of the HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and HTTP is the protocol used to transfer data over the web. It is part of the Internet Protocol Suite and defines commands and services used for transferring web page data. HTTP uses a server-client model. What are DNS? Domain Name Servers, or DNS, are the Internet's equivalent of a phone book. They maintain a directory of domain names and translate them to Internet Protocol or IP addresses. This is necessary because although domain names are easy for people to remember, computers or machines access websites based on IP address. Information from all the domain name servers across the Internet are gathered together and housed at the central registry. Host companies and Internet service providers interact with the central registry on a regular schedule to get updated DNS information. When you type in a web address, like www.gymspikes.com, your Internet service provider views the DNS associated with the domain name, translate it into a machine-friendly IP address, for example, 216.168.224.70 is the IP for gymspike.com, and it directs your Internet connection to the correct website. Once you're registered a new domain name, or when you update the DNS server on your domain name, it usually takes about 12 to 36 hours for the domain name servers worldwide to be updated and able to access the information. This 36-hour period is referred to as propagation. What are DHCP? DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is a protocol used to provide quick, automatic, and central management for the distribution of IP addresses within a network. DHCP is used to configure the proper subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server information on the device. A DHCP server is used to issue unique IP addresses and automatically configure other network information. In most homes and small businesses, the router acts as a DHCP server. In large networks, a single computer might act as a DHCP server. Question number 2. What is the difference between the web design using HTML compared to CISCO packet tracer? Web design using HTML. Web design is the process of creating websites. It encompasses several different aspects including web page layout, content production, and graphic design. While the terms web design and web development are often used interchangeably, web design is technically a subset of the two broader category of web development. HTML is a very basic markup language and requires memorization of a few dozen HTML commands that structure the look and layout of a web page. Before you write any HTML code or designing any of your web page, you must need some HTML editor or text editor. The basic building blocks of web development are HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, with a standard set of tags you will need to tell the web browser how the content of your web pages and applications are structured. Not only used for web design, it is a markup language, or you can say it is the skeleton of a web page, and it is used to make it stylish. CISCO Packet Tracer. Packet Tracer allows users to create simulated network topologies by dragging and dropping routers, switches, and various other types of network devices. A physical connection between devices is represented by a cable item. CISCO Systems claims that Packet Tracer is useful for network experiment. Packet Tracer Workspace. CISCO Packet Tracer has two or more spaces, logical and physical. The logical workspace allows users to build logical network topologies by placing, connecting, and clustering virtual network devices. Using packet tracers, we send out the packets from one system to another system using some IP addresses. In some circuit that we create, we initially take two PCs and one router connected through some network and assign the IP addresses for each. After that, we send packets to PC1 to PC2. For number 4, what is my conclusion about this laboratory? This laboratory has given us, especially the beginners, the freshers, to have a very simple knowledge for CISCO web design programming system. It actually has given us the understanding about the static and dynamic routing. We have managed to create our own websites and links. And we had learned how does this server responses at different clients' requests. It doesn't necessarily give you the vast amount of knowledge that you may want, because it will take a lot of time and a lot of courses for you to be able to get to know the real knowledge about this programming system. But being familiar and being familiar and having the right knowledge or the basic knowledge for this laboratory is a big thing, especially for students.